Welcome to another episode of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? I am so excited about today's program. I'm your host, Karen E. Osborne, author of women's suspense mystery books, Getting It Right, Tangled Lies, Reckonings, and in September, True Grace is coming out. And the person who has given me all of these opportunities, all but one, is Reagan Rothe. He's my publisher. So I'm like so happy to have him here. Hey, Reagan.
Hey Karen, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here. Many of you know that probably about half of my interviews are Black Rose Writing authors because we have a real community and we support each other. And then the other half are random others. Wonderful, amazing, random others. Reagan is not just a publisher. He started his company, he owns his company, but he also is a writer. He's a dad. He juggles so much. And that's really my first question to you, Reagan. Like, how do you juggle running your own business? You know, my husband Bob and I, we had a business together for 25 years, and I know how much work that is. But we did it with grown children. We didn't do it with little ones. So how do you manage it all and get your writing in?
Yeah, I really try to maximize my work time no matter where I am. That way it doesn't take away from spending time with my family and going on adventures. At Black Rose Writing, we always all our staff knows that it's a 365, 7 days a week job. But it's also any day can be a holiday. You get you meet your deadlines, get your work done, then tomorrow you can go play golf or whatever. So yeah, just I try to take work with me, but when it's time, or when the kids or Minna, when it's time to give my attention to them or whatever, I do my best to shut it down.
Yeah. So where do you fit your writing in?
Well, I'm such a terrible writer in terms of being consistent. It just comes in wild bursts. So when I'm not writing, I don't have to worry about it, and then when I am writing, I kind of just fit it into the work day.
Yeah. And you write, so you've written children's books, you've written dystopian tales. Like where's your sweet spot? What's your jam?
I've really enjoyed writing the dystopian that's on Kindle Vella called Blood Groove. It's about how most of the human race is dead, and it's a world where many of the survivors are not the same. Their chemistry's altered, and the physics in the world have gone haywire. And then
Mm,
it's first person from one survivor. It's a post-apocalyptic kind of grit your teeth sci-fi novel with like this similar feel to maybe like a Cormac McCarthy's The Road.
mm.
And that's the one I've really been in. I haven't really thought much of any like future children's books or any, other stories. There's always everyone's got a few manuscripts or stories they've kind of started that really don't have any serious progress. But this is the one I'm very close. It's going to be a novella. It's going to be multiple books in a series, is the goal, and I'm really close to finishing the first one. It's just a matter of kind of it usually takes me wrapping my head around what I want to do, and getting that motivation again.
That sounds exciting. It is quite a gripping story. Where can the audience find it who are not
I'm on
familiar
Kindle
with?
Vella. So yeah, so just on Amazon, if you go to Amazon and search on Kindle Vella, it's titled Blood Groove, and it's under my name, Reagan Rode.
Cool, cool, cool. The things that I love about being part of the Black Rose Writing family is that you encourage us to help each other. You encourage your writers to be in touch, to be supportive of each other. And you also are very responsive to your writers. I send you an email and I hear back. And as busy as you are, and as many writers as you have, which is a pretty substantial number, if I just look at the numbers of people on the Facebook group, it's a lot of us, and yet you really find time to be attentive to us. And I think that's different from a lot of presses, that these small presses. It's not. I think that it's not common. I don't know. You know what's why is that important to you? What how does that keeping us together fit in with kind of your philosophy and
Right. So, what that was one of the original concepts when I started Black Rose Writing, was trying to create a family-like, more personable experience than I had publishing
mm,
through different publishers. I don't want to speak for a lot of the other indie publishers and small press, so I'm not really sure if their model, in terms of like that personal and family atmosphere is similar. I know we've had several authors comment about their experiences, coming from other publishers,
mm,
bigger and some that were similar. And have said that it wasn't, that they didn't really know anybody, that they, any authors, or have any relationship with any authors that or were also published by that same publisher. So I know our model is very much our own. I think it helps authors in terms of like the networking. Say you've done a book event at a bookstore in, Portland, Oregon, and that store was extremely uh, welcoming for a Black Rose Writing author. Well, it's nice to have that network and let other authors, that are in the area know ahead of time. And it just helps their whole marketing strategy and going in. One author's already kind of done the footwork there. And then just the support, I think, of like review swaps, buying each other's books, reading them, sharing each other's books on others' subscriber lists, recommending that. That's all. I mean, it's really not that difficult. It doesn't cost any money to do.
yeah.
And it's a way that, you reciprocate to fellow authors, and then they give back, and it can really help you in terms of book sales.
That is really true. I had somebody say to me, "Well, you write for Black Rose Writing. You guys are always reviewing each other's books and buying each other's books." And I said, "Yeah." you know, why are you saying that as if it's a bad thing? It's a really good thing.
For
So, absolutely. Uh, So, if authors, has there been a writer, especially on your maybe on your children's books, maybe your dystopian, but has there been a book that you've read or an author that's really had a huge impact on your writing, on your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was trying to think about, early on, childhood. I remember reading Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia multiple
Yeah.
times. Fantasy, I think, was the first thing I really enjoyed reading, and I remember reading The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings multiple times, and even some of like Silmarillion and some of the other Tolkien books. And then as I got a little bit older, early Stephen King, I remember like having the big, dust jacket hardcovers for it, and like The Stand, and all, reading all of those. And then I think, I mean, that was kind of my first, really introduction into adult books, and the horror. And then one book that always stuck with me, it was the first. I don't know why we had it. I don't know why it was in our at our home, but it was Mario Puzo's Fools Die, which is not even, you think of Godfather and
Yeah.
Sicilian and a lot of the other Mario Puzo books, but Fools Die. I don't know why. Again, like, I don't remember why I read it, why we had it hardcover, but I do remember reading it. I still have that book in my library behind me
Hmm.
somewhere. I mean, that was kind of my that introduction to like a really adult themed book with real adult situations when I was like, probably early in high school. So I probably learned some things I didn't need to learn at that time. But I also just really, and then I went on to read all of Mario Puzo's books after that. But yeah, that one, for whatever reason, that one has always stuck out beyond all the rest.
Cool, cool. Well, we like to also recommend books to our audience, and I know that you would, want to recommend every book of all your authors, but you can't do that, so you got to pick somebody else.
Yeah, well, I recommend Reckonings by no, no, my author that I've been recommending quite a lot lately, and just because I feel it's very original, which is hard to do for like a fantasy world, sci-fi world, is Joe Abercrombie's books. Any of them, he's got a couple of different trilogies. First Law, and then there's like the half a king. And any Joe Abercrombie books, he does it really, really well. They're
Mm,
humorous, they're gory, and the characters are sensational. Like the different point of views, they're really good. So I've read all those. I'm waiting for his, and he just turned in the draft on his new one, a completely new series, I think. So I'm
mm,
waiting on that. And then, but what I'm currently reading right now is book 7 of the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. If you're a
mm.
sci-fi fan, it's to me the best hard sci-fi that exists. And if you don't want to read and just want to watch it, The Expanse on Prime is pretty tough to beat for science fiction.
Wow. Is it appropriate for a teenager, like a 16, 17-year-old?
I think so, because it doesn't. It has kind of. It's got the adult themes and maybe the language, so it kind of depends on whether the language is there. But in terms of like the over the top, in terms of like sexual themes and you know gore or horror, none of that's in there. I mean, it's definitely adult, like language wise and violence wise. So I think it'd be a a parental choice.
Yeah,
I would have read it at that age, but that's me.
my 16-year-old, almost 17-year-old grandson is a writer and a reader, and this sounds like a good place for him if it's age, because he's very mature, and so I'll have him listen to this this show. So so if I was a writer who didn't have a publishing house, and I think I have an amazing book, how do I approach you?
Yeah, just blackrosewriting.com. The submissions tab is on the menu. There's a really good form that's designed for you to nail your book pitch and your author platform. So, research where you're submitting to and then fill that out. Don't be modest and let it go. And then I review every query submission that we get.
Wow, did you hear that, you writers out there? They review every query they get. That's just not something that you hear. The wonderful, wonderful thing. And if people just want to follow you as a writer, as an author, you mentioned your dystopian book on Kindle Vella. Is there any other place that they could know who you are as a writer and an author?
Yeah, I think just following Black Rose Writing, I mean, my author presence in terms of social media pretty much revolves around Black Rose Writing. So, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them are Black Rose Writing. You can usually find them pretty easily.
All right. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful conversation, and I hope all of you have enjoyed it. I hope that you will follow Black Rose Writing on all of those platforms. If you have a novel that's just dying to be, and you also publish nonfiction, right?
Yes, yeah, we've got a lot of really good like memoirs and biographies, and then true crime, and every now and then we'll kind of take on a few other projects.
Yeah, so if you've got a book that's just dying for a home, be sure to go to Black Rose Writing's webpage and hit that submit button and be on your way. And I hope that you will follow both Reagan and that you'll follow me. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I have my own website, KarenEOsborne.com. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Reagan. And we'll see you next time on What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Bye, everybody.